New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
What would Louise say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to What Would Louise Say? I'm your host, Rev Martine, and today's conversation is one that feels deeply important, not just for our personal lives, but for the world we are collectively creating. We're living in such an interesting time. We call it interesting because nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. But people are searching. They're searching for healing, for meaning, for peace, and for purpose. And Louise Hay gave us something simple yet revolutionary. The healing of the self heals the world. So today we're exploring the question, how does this work actually change the world? So once again, I'm so glad to have Anna and Christy with us. Anna and Christy, who are the trainers for the U.S., Christy, who's the COO of the Heal Your Life organization, and Anna, who is one of our phenomenal coaches and master trainers for the U.S. So ladies, it's so wonderful to have you back here again.
Thank you,
so
Martine.
Wonderful. And
Thank you for having us.
Oh, so excited, so happy, because it's such an important question right now. How does this work change the world? So, Christy, what are your thoughts and thinking about Louise's work and how it actually changed the world?
How it actually changed the world. You know, it's so interesting because I always say the philosophy itself is not new. You know, it goes back to ancient times. We can go back to ancient philosophers and see it. There was a big revival of it in the early 20th century. And so what did Louise bring that changed it around again? And really and truly, she was so brilliant that she made it really accessible. You don't have to be a philosopher. You don't have to understand Plato or Socrates or, you know, to be able to get to the understanding of how changing your thoughts, changing the way you view the world, changes the whole world, right? And that's what she really did. She gave us really accessible tools. And honestly, the easiest one is affirmations. When we change it to its interesting times instead of its scary times or its hard times,
That's right.
or the economy is not good, any of these negative things that we hear from people, when we can just change it to interesting. Didn't we, we often look back in history and think, ooh, I wish I'd lived in interesting times.
That's right.
Right? It changes it completely. And the more of us who are out there saying that and who focus it in a different way, who see it as a way, whatever, regardless of how you're seeing it, but you see it as a way to move forward. That's what Louise brought us.
Yes.
She brought us this incredibly accessible method that literally changed the world in the 80s. Starting in the late 70s, going into the 80s, when she worked with AIDS patients before there was even a name for AIDS.
Yes.
And she touched them and taught them to hug and touch. She started a whole path that literally changed the world. And like you were saying before we came on, she was really the start of the coaching industry. You know, it's her and a few other people who just started just really talking and saying, hey, if you change your thoughts, you're going to change your life.
Yes.
And it has actually changed the world tremendously. And I think, you know, when you stop to look at what's going well, I always think back to the movie Love Actually. When
Oh,
you go into an airport, you don't see people in
yes.
hatred, you see people in love. And
Yes.
you think about that, and let's juxtapose that to like this. I mean, you can go back, let's go back to even the start of the early industrial revolution when we had kids working and there were no laws supporting us. The world does change, even if it's still interesting,
That's
you
right.
know, it does change. And that positive attitude that can do, that can change, that she brought has changed the world.
Yes.
And it's hard to imagine that was over 40 years ago.
That's incredible. And that's right. There's the anniversary edition. Of course, I don't have it right here, but there's the anniversary edition of Heal Your Life, of the Heal Your Life book. It's so lovely. I'm going to make sure
So
that
pretty.
for every
Yes. And
show,
I
it's so
usually have
pretty.
it right here, but
It's
I love
right.
it
It's
so
usually
much. I
right
keep
here.
taking it. Yeah. I keep bringing it
Exactly.
everywhere.
I think it's in my tote bag, so I need to pull it out. But my beloveds, please go on any booksellers and purchase it, even if you have the original copy or many copies. It's such a gorgeous edition
Mhm.
with all of the
It's
beautiful
so pretty.
artwork. And to think that's been 40 years, because I was so inspired by the topic of our show today that I was just like, okay, what are the 5 ways that this work changes the world? And Christy, you really just nailed it. Healing the relationship with the self. That's the first
That is the
way that
big one.
this,
Mhm.
it's a really, really big one. So if you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked, and Anna and I talked about this, try approving of yourself and see what happens. When people shift from self criticism to self love, they then project that love outward. Because if we were all loving ourselves, a lot of the interesting things that are going on the
Yes, a lot of the interesting things would
planet
heal themselves.
would heal themselves and
Yes.
would not be going on if we all did mirror work, you know? So it
Yes.
begins with us.
Mhm.
It begins with us. And so that first tenet is exactly what you're saying, because Louise always would say that that one of the primary ways that we show ourselves self love is by affirming good in our lives and not
Mhm.
catastrophizing. Not no,
Exactly.
not seeing ourselves as a victim, not seeing
Yes.
ourselves as broken, poor, sad, lonely,
Mhm.
not scaring ourselves. And
Yes.
so that's the biggest form of self love. And I remember when I either heard it in one of her lectures because I was obsessed or read it in the book, I was in
Yeah.
awe of that, because
Yeah.
worrying and self criticism is a cultural foundation across the world. It's just, you're not
It
normal.
is.
What do you mean you're not worrying about that? I've been
Yeah.
worried. People will even say to you, you're not worried? What's wrong with
What's
you?
wrong
What's
with
wrong
you?
with
Why
you?
aren't you worried? Well, you know, but if you stop and love yourself, if
Yeah.
you do the mirror work, if you do the affirmations, the worry moves to belief that the interesting times are bringing us into more positive places.
That's right. That
Yeah,
all is well. Everything is working out for our highest good, and we are safe. I am safe. You are safe. We
we're
are
all
safe.
safe. Hmm.
It's really the truth, and that's what that's how this work changes the world. The second principle, based on how Louise's work and this work that we do changes the world, is that we transform our thought patterns. So Anna, you are someone who, like you were saying when I interviewed you, you were in a culture that was always critical and that was always, of course, analyzing the politics of the day, and probably gloom and doom because of the living circumstances. So people become aware of their thoughts and begin choosing them consciously. They stop recreating fear, lack, worry, and limitation. And you are an example of this.
Yes, thank you. I think a lot of people, it's not just cultural thing
Global.
in today's world.
Yes.
It's really scary out there. If you turn on the news, if you see what's going on in the world, everywhere in different parts of the world at the same time,
Yes.
it can be very overwhelming. So
Can.
people don't feel safe right now. I see this with my clients. I see with people that we talk to. They don't feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally.
Yes.
Right? So this is where the uncertainty comes into play, where there's a constant load of different information, and the fear and overthinking easily takes over. And that brings and adds to anxiety. So what happens when we don't feel safe inside? We don't know how to do things because we don't trust ourselves. That connects to not trusting ourselves. So it's really hard to make decisions, right? I have a friend who works at a travel agency back in Serbia, and she says people are coming and canceling the whole year. They don't want to go to Turkey. They don't want to go to Israel. They don't want to, they don't want to do things. So now they suffer. Now they're scared. Now they come and ask her every day, what's going to happen? And she's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Is there going to be a war or not? But they give money back to the people who already scheduled their travel for this year. So they're not feeling, so it's really hard to make the decision of what to do. People react to what's going on instead of just responding.
Yes.
So what Louise's work is teaching us basically is really, what really does help is rebuild a sense of internal safety. And we do this by doing the mirror work, by doing the affirmations, by meditating, turning back into internal safety, so that and that's something no external situation can ever constantly give you, because there's always things happening in some parts of the world.
That's right.
People look at the prices of the gas right now and, I'm not sure if we should do this. It's scarcity thinking. So when it comes to the mindset, Louise really showed us how to go from the fixed mindset to the growth mindset. And we talked before about this.
Yes.
It all goes back to where do you want to focus your energy? Because you have now, in today's world, you have choices. You can watch the news
all day, all night.
I'm not
all day long.
Doom scrolling.
Not ignoring the world, but really knowing that we are not in control of it, but we are in control of our response to it. How we feel inside is it's our responsibility. And I love to see now how we change the world. I love your question for today. Yes. How this work changes the world.
Yes.
Now I want you to close your eyes and imagine like a famous singer, a band, and you're at a concert. And they say at one moment your favorite song starts. Yes. And you hear the first sounds, and it's coming. And they ask everyone back in the day, it was do your lighter, right? Yes. Now it's turn the flashlight on a phone, and you see people reaching their pockets, and one by one flashlight turns on, and there's popping one and the other and third one, the fourth one, and now hundreds and thousands of people with their flashlights. and everyone's dancing and singing to the song that they love.
Yes.
And what's the feeling? How does that make you feel, seeing all the people lighting around you?
Yes.
This is how this work changes the world. And we do this at the Heal Life trainings, and we say we change one soul at a time.
That's right.
But when you connect community, when you bring them together and you see all these lights, it's beautiful. Because
Yes.
they all feel safe inside, and now they can relate and build relationships and show up in their lives on a completely different level, not out of fear, but out of connection and safety.
Oh, that is so wonderful. It's like we put on we light ourselves up from the inside
We
instead
do.
of cloudy, instead of a cloudy inner environment or sad or worried. The sun comes up within us. The sun, that internal light that's always shining. We tune into that frequency. And the other day I went to the gas tank, and I think the gas here in Boston, it was like $4.49, and then the highest it was $6.61 or something like that, and they were all like that. And I thought, and I've always done the I'm prosperous because I don't even bother with the gas prices. I don't think about it, and I go, I can afford this. I can easily and effortlessly afford this and more. So I paid my, I put the gas in, and that was it. I didn't get into like, oh my God, man, really?
Yes,
Inside.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
I would be surprised
Inside.
how many people do. I know that price is gonna go up and down. It's been forever like that. At one moment it's
Yes.
high and then it goes down. We're like, oh yay, it's good, and then it goes up and down. But it's easy for people to look at the price of gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why it's really important that we work on internal safety and know that I can handle this.
Yep.
It's not about it's not about things being different outside, but knowing inside that whatever comes, I can take care of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't even get into, well, before I could fill the tank for this much, and then I pay whatever amount. I'm happy I have gas. I leave.
Yeah.
It's the only way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would really like to go on with this one because it's such a clear it's such a clear explanation. I remember the first really big jump. It was way back when I was dating my husband, and we've been together for 25 years. So it's a while ago, and it was going from the 2s. They were saying it's going to go up into the 3s. And, it's before I got into this work, although I've always been really positive. But before I really did this, and I was like, oh my God, I can't even imagine. Three. When I first started driving, it was like 75 cents. What? And I really was like, that's crazy. And then it just happened. And, at first it seems so crazy, and then it becomes normalized. And now that's normal. Now we would all love for it to be 3 something a gallon, right? And yet it becomes normal again, and it becomes normal again. It's really, and I know that there are people out there struggling, so I don't want to demean that concept, but really and truly, it's an understanding that these things change. They do.
Yes.
And the initial change can feel really hard and scary. There's no way we want to take away from understanding that.
Yes.
And yet eventually it normalizes. And then it no longer feels scary. So if you can just get to the point where you can say to yourself, I know I've got this. Every other time it's happened, I've had it. We're okay. I'm okay. My family's okay. We have got this. Whether it's groceries, whether it's something scary or, that feels unsafe in your community or your neighborhood.
Yes.
Whether it's the gas, whatever it is that's popped up that feels different. It is an internal peace so that you're not freaking out every time there's a change. It's hard on your nervous system.
It's hard on your nervous system, and then you're on a roller coaster. You're up, you're up, you're down.
Yes.
We want to be as level as we can with the challenges of life, not because they're not
Yes,
real, but this is how dis-ease is created. They said that the
exactly.
levels of stress,
Yes,
the levels, and I just have to speak to it because we don't deny the illusions.
right.
Been lots
Yes,
of murder suicides. We keep it real here. We
yeah,
in the
absolutely.
news because I think that there's just so much hopelessness.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah,
Feelings of hopelessness and thinking that this moment in time is the only moment and things will not change for the better. Does that mean that you reckon things work out perfectly? But it's a moment, it's a snapshot
it is a snapshot.
of life, and it might be the worst experience, but it's going to change. The frame and the picture are constantly changing. Um,
Hmm.
and so reassuring people of that. And I think, thank you so much, Christy, for using that example about the gas prices as I did as well. Because the third principle, as we talked about what's been happening in the news, and I don't watch the news, but things show up and people are
They
talking
do.
about things.
Hmm.
And so the third principle or point to making the world changes when we do this work is releasing the past through forgiveness.
Mm.
Releasing the past through forgiveness. Because a lot of what's happening is, people thinking that this is my life, you are my life. If it changes, I am nothing. If it changes, it will never be better. Things will never get better. And that willingness to forgive. So Louise taught that forgiveness is liberation. It's a
Yes, it
form of
is.
liberation. When
Yep.
people release resentment and old pain, they stop passing trauma forward.
Yes.
You can just pass it forward in your lived experience because it's a state of mind and consciousness and thoughts. And then you can also pass it on to those around you. That's why trauma is also passed down. I mean, they've said that physiologically it's passed down in the body, but I think all of our talking, and this is not to deny that trauma, please do therapy, do
Yes.
pounding of the pillow, screaming. Louise was all about releasing the energy that is stored, crying, screaming. There's an exercise in the training that's phenomenal. You get to yell and pound the pillow
Hmm.
in a safe environment. So this is not about denial or spiritual bypass.
Mm.
No.
Not about that. But it's
No, it's
about,
not.
yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people confuse anger with sadness, which is the flip side of a coin. As culturally, it's more acceptable for women to cry and be sad about things and for guys to be angry. And one thing that we do in our trainings, by nature, we have more women, although we do have men, but it's more women. We give them that opportunity to express anger. And you would be surprised how many people go into crying. And I go, as assistant, and I'm going to be doing this as a trainer as well. I go and I say, later you'll have time to cry. Now it's time to be angry. Really, you have to remind them that it is okay to express
Yes.
anger and express other emotions. But we normally go, oh, I'm so mad, and we start crying, right? And guys feel like they want to punch something. That's
Yeah.
natural to them
Yes.
because it's acceptable. They're angry. Yeah, as a boy, you don't cry. You're not a crybaby. But
Yeah.
it's okay if you go and hit something, if you kick the
Yes.
ball, do these things. So going back to forgiveness, it's
Yes.
super important. It's a big F word. And honestly, there's no healing without forgiveness. It
Yes.
cannot
Yeah.
be done.
Yes.
Affirmations won't work, mirror work won't work, and nothing will work if you're holding your anger with you, if you're not forgiving, if you're not letting go. And there's resentment then, and we know what happens in the body when we have a lot of anger and resentment. So we want to make sure that we know that forgiveness is forgiving ourselves a gift.
Yes.
Hmm.
It's forgiving ourselves freedom. It's forgiving ourselves an opportunity to feel lighter, to be better people. And there's beautiful meditation. We can find it on YouTube by Louise Hay. And sometimes go back to it. People think, oh, I forgive that. Well, sit down with forgiveness. I've done many times forgiveness into the mirror. So I did mirror work with forgiveness. And that is truly healing. I sit down, I have my tissue box with me, and I connect with my eyes, and I forgive the person, and I forgive myself as well.
Yeah. And
really-
the thing about, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, very powerful. Please continue, Christy.
Yeah. So the thing about forgiveness is it doesn't deny the trauma, but it goes back to what we were saying before. It allows you to get out of that victimhood, and you're at peace. You can talk about the trauma, and you can talk about it at an even level. You're not like this and like this and like this. It allows you to come to peace. It's not about saying that you're now going to go be friends with the person who traumatized you or with the event that traumatized you. That's not the point. And it's not the point of glossing it over and saying it didn't happen. But when you see people, powerful speaking, people who've lost children, people who have found themselves in very unsafe situations, and they can give a talk about that, and they stay even. That's what forgiveness is. You are like, how can they talk about that? How can they tell that story without crying, without being angry? It's because they've come to a level of forgiveness. That victimhood is gone. That anger at God is gone. It's because that's a lot of the forgiveness. A lot of times you end up having to forgive God or your spiritual, power, whatever that is for you.
Your higher power. Yes.
Your higher power. And when you can do that, it becomes a part of your strength instead of a part of what holds you down.
Wow. Exactly. How powerful. How powerful. Because forgiveness breaks generational cycles.
It does.
It breaks generational cycles. You don't pass it down. And it's that whole you don't pass down your woes. When you're talking about it and the kids are around and the friend, it becomes your identity. So people even know you as like, oh yeah, I will never forget this company. There was when I was doing hair, there was a young assistant, and her grandmother. She was like, and I said to her, oh, you're going to your grandmother? She goes, oh yeah, grandma's just mean. She's just a mean lady because my grandfather left her after 25 years of marriage, and he ran away with the neighbor. It was just something. Just
happens.
Exactly. Just the next door neighbor. But he said to me, my grandmother. Then someone moved in next door who was a Reiki healer, and grandma started hanging out with this person. And this person actually knew some Louise Hay work and Reiki. And I remember I said, well, how's grandma's doing? Because that grandma's story stayed with me. And so I said, how's grandma? She's like, grandma's great. She actually met with my grandfather because he actually married the neighbor. They're married. Oh. And she had him come over, and she said she forgave him, and she held on to it too long. Now she's starting to have parties and events. And I said, Reiki and Louise Hay did this to her. I was like, this stuff works.
Right? It works. You can call it woo-woo. You can call it whatever you want. Who cares what you call it? It works.
And it works because it's energy, simply because it's energy. You do your part, and then people start calling you, or you meet them in the street, or something happens. And you go, how did this happen? Well, I did the internal work, and the energy, it's like a butterfly effect, energy went where it had to go, and some things just get resolved. As Christy said, you don't have to be friends with them, but why not if it wasn't a big trauma? Sometimes you just need resolved situation with a person, and sometimes this happens and people are brought back together. You have people who divorce and then marry after 20 years again.
Yes.
Yeah.
They probably forgave each other for whatever happened 20 years ago.
They had to forgive. No, that's an excellent example. And people who reconcile as friends or siblings or parents, forgiveness works. It really works.
It really works.
You discharge that energy. And so, ladies, we can take a quick break. My beloveds, my beautiful ones, I'm Rev Martine, and this is our wonderful show, What Would Louise Say?
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
The Heal Your Life Workshop Facilitator and Life Coach Certification Training, approved personally by Louise Hay, is coming to San Diego, facilitated by expert trainers Christy, Dickson, and Milkic. This 3.5-month training includes multiple sessions on Zoom and 9 days in beautiful San Diego. It will change your life and enable you to help others transform their lives.
Hello, we are back, and I just want to shout out the New Thought Media Network, Reverend Robert, Reverend Michael, and all of our great shows. Please watch this show, of course. Watch What Would Louise Say? Attend the workshops with Anna and Christy. Sign up for the week training in October. Do it all. Do it all.
You'll love it, we promise.
Exactly. It will change your life. It will heal your life. So please join us. Please join us. Our fourth principle of how this work changes the world, as we change ourselves, everything works out. This is truly, we can help change the world, is reprogramming the subconscious mind. So affirmations are not just words, they are tools tools to transformation. So when identity shifts, everything shifts. They work. Affirmations work.
Affirmations work.
They work. They work. They really do work.
They really do work. I have a little testimonial.
Mm-hmm.
I have been affirming wealth. I had a dream where I heard God, my higher power, saying you have to speak wealth, you got to dance wealth, you got to do a little wealth party. I've actually had them with a few friends, but I was affirming wealth. And suddenly out of the blue, a friend of mine called me and said, hey, I want you to have dinner with me and my husband and a client. And I said, oh, really? Really? That's really, I said, that's really interesting. And she said, yeah, this client is a billionaire. And I said, really? And I said, oh my goodness, how blessed. I had dinner, fun to be in that frequency, to be in that consciousness.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, this is a sign. This is a sign. So we start changing our frequency, because for me, wealth has been, and so I'm saying wealth is mine. I am wealthy. Wealth is mine. I'm deserving of wealth. I'm not even putting a specific number, because sometimes the subconscious mind is like, oh, I can't be a millionaire. I'm not worthy of that. So I'm just affirming that wealth is natural. I speak wealth. I'm wealthy in spirit. I'm wealthy in health. I'm wealthy in friends. I'm wealthy in time. I'm wealthy in activity. Exactly. And so that is shifting consciousness, and I'm finding money. I went somewhere and someone paid It was something very odd. Someone was like, "Oh, let me buy you coffee." I was like in line and I was chatting with them, and I'll pay for it. So all of these things are manifesting as I affirm wealth in consciousness.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it's a programming of the subconscious mind. And another thing I've been doing, I've been saying my wealth affirmations before I go to bed, so that they're seeds that like seeds that get sprinkled. They're like the last thoughts that I have, because I was listening to a teacher, I think Susan Ann Taylor from Hay House. She's published, not Susan, Sandra Ann Taylor, published some great books. She was saying you want to also say your affirmations or a couple right before as you're falling asleep, because that's really a reprogramming as well. Mirror work and right before you fall asleep.
Hmm.
So, ladies,
Yeah.
the spiritual technology of reprogramming our subconscious mind. And you touched on that, Christy, when you were saying, you want to affirm an atmosphere, or I think it might have been Anna, of inner safety.
Yeah,
That
that was, yes. Hmm.
is inner
Mhm.
safety, but
How we
affirmation.
So how we get there when everything becomes overwhelming, and our heart starts pounding, anxieties right there, you're overthinking, now you're scared of what's going to happen, whether it's world situation, whether it's something in your world today, in your life, whether
Yes.
it's related to your relationship, your work, your health.
Yes.
Things happen because we have those thoughts.
Yeah.
And used to say our
Yeah.
thoughts are like drops of water. When you have a couple of them, it's fine. But
Yes.
once they become pond, and the pond becomes river, and river transfers into the ocean, and now you can either drown in the ocean of negativity, or you
Yes.
can swim right in the ocean of positivity. So what is it that it's something that we consciously need to remind ourselves. We
Yes.
literally need to stop ourselves and say, what am I thinking right now? Is my thought that I have right now supporting me in where I want to get, or what I want to be, or who I want to be?
Mhm.
Or is it bringing more to going, backwards? What
Yes.
is it? And affirmation is simply everything that we think and we say. It's not just what we say. It's only also
Yes.
what we think.
It's,
Bring these two together to have the we
Yes.
want, right? And people think, well, I'm gonna say this 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon. I have clients who ask me, so how many? Okay, so they write down. We're in a session. They write down how many times a day I do it, and I don't know. It's not a pill that I prescribe 3 times in the morning, and then it's gonna happen, right? I don't know. Some people say it once and it's enough. Some people say it 100 times. And this is what I say to my clients. What we do in our session is 1 hour today. So what do you do with the 23 hours, the rest of the 23 hours today, and the rest 6 days of 24 hours before we meet again? It's on you. And that,
Yes.
I give you tools. We go through this. We go through affirmations. We go through the exercises. I ask questions. This is what happens, and it's fairly sacred space. But then you go and you live your life. So you
It's up
say
to
the
us.
how many times, and I love to ask this to my to participants and clients, how many times do you say negative thing to yourself? It's going to be hard, I'm never going to be able to make it, now they're going to
Yeah.
do this, they're not bad. How many times you said it? Do it double in a positive way, and they go, well, then I'm going to be talking all day. Well, you do. You do. Then realize how your negative thought process works, right? So I love my Power Top cards by Louise Hay. They're
Oh,
always here.
I
I love
love the CD. I'm old fashioned. The CD.
cards.
I
Yes.
use them all the time. I bring them with my business card if I go to an event. We have here in Vegas, like a coffee Wednesday matcha. All the coaches we meet, and we hang out. So I always bring these and I put them on a table. Grab one, and every time this happens, oh, you have that reaction, because people connect to it. Every time it's, how did they know? I don't know. How did they? But what I pulled this morning, and it's interesting because we always talk about affirmations, is I experienced just before we started, and I like to take it as my guide, as my intention for the day. It says, I experience love wherever I go.
Oh,
Back says, love is everywhere, and I'm loving and lovable. Loving people fill my life, and I find myself easily expressing love to others.
That is
Now we
huge.
go, right? That's huge. Just
Today,
imagine
what's going
this.
on?
Imagine saying that. Go to the store and we talk about it. Someone cuts in front of you or something happens. I experience love wherever I go. And even when things like that happen, it's my choice whether I'm going to react from this or for.
yeah, it is a choice. Yes.
It is a choice.
Affirmation is a choice that we make, and it's just so powerful because we grow inside. We send those informations. I can't tell enough. People watch Inside Out movie. It's such a great representation of Louise. How memories, how we store our thoughts, and how we get triggered to react from there. So how we rewire that is by choosing new thoughts, choosing new affirmations, and basically learning our system. You know how you have the phone and you have to update the system so that your apps would work? We update our system with this so that we can work better, so that we can relate better, so that we can work better, so we can show up in our life differently.
Right. That is right.
Yeah. And I, on it to build on what you said, this concept, everybody does ask, how many times? And, like, what do I need? Like, what do I need to do to change? And there's two really big things, because there is no magic number, but it's awareness and consistency.
Yes.
And, I, as a girl who grew up in the 80s, watching her mom diet over and over and over again, right? And the never ending conversation about body image. And that came with me. No matter how thin I was, no matter how heavy I was, no matter what, it was never good enough. And I always wanted a different body. And when I started this work, that was one of the big things I really started on.
Yes.
And it was mirror work. That was where it really started. And every time I passed a mirror, and I would be like, oh, and and it was that like, oh, I wish and this and that, and I wish my belly and all the things, my arms. And it became awareness of, you're beautiful. Just you're beautiful. Every time I passed a mirror, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. Even if that thought came up. And I honestly, mirrors are no longer a trigger of any kind for me at all. And if you had told me, especially as a Leo, that mirrors would have no hold over me, what? Is that really possible? But it was literally just awareness, being aware. It's there. Be aware of it. Acknowledge it. It came up. Forgiveness for my mom always dieting and talking about it. I've forgiven her, and we've talked about it, and it's funny now. And consistency. Every time I caught me, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And I feel beautiful now. My weight doesn't matter. Weight fluctuates up and down, hormones fluctuate, all of that changes. It does not matter. I love my clothes. I enjoy getting dressed. I love finding fun things to wear. And people, we can enjoy our bodies. We can enjoy ourselves. And that's true for everything. Whatever you are critical about.
This is
awareness and consistency.
Consistency is the key. It's not even about the number, my beautiful ones. If you're streaming in with us, it's not about a number, how many times. It's consistency, because you've been consistent. We've been consistent with the negative thinking, with the self-criticism, with the overanalysis. I just had an aha moment about how women will suddenly start focusing on their arms. My arms are set. Of course, you're affirming that your arms are set. Suddenly,
Yes,
you
it's an
look at the mirror,
affirmation.
you go like this, you go there seconds. Of course, they're going to become even more.
Yeah, it's an affirmation. They are going to be saggy then. And it is literally what you see. It is what you've told your brain to see. Your brain is very powerful. It is an energetic source.
That's right.
And when you say to it, my arms are saggy, my belly is too big, I've got wrinkles, your brain hears that and that's what it sees.
It impacts
Psychology supports this.
Dr.
Science
Bruce
supports
Lipton.
this.
Yes, Dr. Bruce.
But when you say, I am beautiful, I have beautiful arms, that is what you start to see.
Yes.
And it will honestly change for you.
Yes.
And that's in whatever. And now when we talk about how does this change the world? Imagine everybody walks by a mirror and thinks they're beautiful on the inside and the out.
Wow.
How does that change all the judgment?
We wouldn't
Right?
even
How
judge
does that
each
change?
other.
Right?
Judging each other. We'd be the
Yeah.
vibration we would have. The
Mhm.
vibration, and you see it. I've worked in fashion with my model friends. I just loved being around them. I mean, they're just so confident. I mean, when they're all just hanging out and and they look beautiful and they're posing, they're in that persona. It's great to be around people who think they're really attractive.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's a
It
really
is.
fun. It's like a non-issue. Everybody eats healthy. Everybody thinks they're worth it. Of course, I wouldn't eat that because I want to keep on fitting in my. That's
Right? And yet, when you really love yourself, you can also have a piece of pizza. You can have cake and you can have an orange. Everything stays the same. You have an apple, you have broccoli, you have pizza. Whatever it is, food is an energy source. It is food, but it is also community and deliciousness. It is all of those things.
It is all of those
It
things.
it is neither bad nor good.
Mhm.
Precisely. And your body, it's so funny, Dr. Joseph Murphy, an oldie but goodie, he was saying the aging process, you can do all the exercise in the world, but if you hate yourself, hate your body, hate getting older, you are going to age badly, regardless
Yes.
of all the things that you are
Yep.
doing. Because it's
Yeah.
a state of mind. It's a state of mind. It's
Just think about the state of mind during all the affirmations, healing,
yes,
forgiveness work, how it shows really
precisely.
for people.
Mhm.
And we have one more tenant, and then we're going to talk about Anna's coaching because Anna's an incredible coach. We're
She
going
really
to
is.
talk about she really is. She's a master coach and trainer for the US. And we're going to talk about the offering for tomorrow and the workshops coming ahead and the training. So
Yep.
the last one, which we're going to, is number 5, living as love and contribution. So when people love themselves, they naturally begin to serve. They become teachers, healers, coaches. And this work spreads throughout the world because they are embodying and committed to embodying these principles.
Mhm.
And that's what happens. We all
Mhm.
read the book. It came into our lives. Some people, Valerie from Florida, who's a master coach, was saying her books have fallen off of shelves. People didn't realize the book was there. You name it. You name it. Louise came into our lives. And then we
Yes.
begin to embody these principles and we
Mhm.
begin coaching and teaching. So let's talk about that. Anna, let's talk about coaching and teaching and what you and Christy are doing tomorrow and
Yeah.
what's going forward.
Well, me and Christy tomorrow are doing the webinar on abundance, and it's based on Louise Hay's philosophy, of course, and teachings and principles. And the webinar is called You're Meant to Be Abundant.
I will be there.
Please be
there.
there.
Square.
We really believe that we are all meant to be abundant. We forgot that somewhere along the way, whether it was the way we were raised or the cultural thing. So we are here tomorrow to remind you that you're meant to be abundant, and the way is practical tools, of course, how you can remember and bring that back into your life. One thing that I see is that change doesn't happen just by setting goals. And I do this in my coaching, and I love Brian Tracy's psychology of achievement, and we set goals and we do all of that. And that's beautiful. But that's one part of it.
That's
When
right.
change really happens is when you shift the relationship that you have with yourself. And this is how the training itself, the Hero Life program that my coaching is based on also, and all the offerings that we have is based on Louise Hay's work. That's how it's different from the other programs out there, because a lot of developmental programs right now have mindset shift, goal setting, how to achieve. And Louise's work is about, as we said, inner safety, self-worth, self-acceptance, the subconscious beliefs and how to change them, about internal and external relationships, compassion instead of judgment.
That's right.
So this work, whether I do coaching, whether I train the training, whether we do the webinar tomorrow, the one thing that we teach that's really underlying everything is this program is not about fixing. It's about compassion, about accepting who we are, and really creating. And we, Christy, because we're so different and so aligned, we make this beautiful space where people actually have opportunity to feel the change in a safe place.
Yes.
And that's why we're so passionate about this, and especially working together is, you don't have to fix yourself, because only if you transform this, now all the programs say, only when you transform this, you'll be healed, you'll be complete.
Yes.
Louise Hay's work is about building shifting relationship with yourself so that you can speak kindly to yourself, so you can have better relationship with your spouse, so that your relationship with your mother can be healed.
That's right.
It's completely different approach. It's a deeper level than other coaching programs, and that's why we say it's a heart-centered program. It's really based a lot also on intuition.
Yes.
My job as a coach is to hear what you say, but also what you didn't say, so that we can bring what's really blocking you, so we can change those beliefs. And people who come for coaching and to our even the program that we have that starts this Thursday, it's called Hero Life Journey. It is a 6-week program that me and Christy lead, and it's beautiful because we cover 5 topics. It's desirability, mind-body connection, prosperity, setting boundaries, and loving relationships. So it's all rooted in Louise's philosophy. They get to go online and do there's a portal, they get log in, they listen to Dr. Patricia Crane and Rick Nicholson, and then, they come back and they do the exercises, and we do group work. And there's a lot of group coaching that happens there. And that's why this work is beautiful. Over the period of 6 weeks, they get to taste this work.
Yes.
They get to shift something, and also decide whether this is something that they want to do in the future, so they can come and sign up for our training program that starts in September.
Yay, the training program.
Yes.
Phenomenal. I did the Heal Your Life Journey. It's phenomenal. And the training program was life-changing for me at a time where I needed to be reminded of the power of these principles, of Louise's worldview. And for me, the forgiveness work was essential. Every card I pulled was forgiveness work. I was going through a healing adventure, forgiveness work, and also just releasing anger. As a perpetual nice girl, older sister, pleasant, positive, especially this philosophy, living this philosophy, being a CSL minister, the Signs of Mind from which Louise's tradition, spiritual tradition is based on, this work it's always about being positive. So it was the first time that I was able to scream, and I couldn't even let myself scream, but scream in a pillow and pound the pillow and all of that. It was such a wonderful release.
Yeah.
And so important to the healing process. So beautiful ones watching. This is powerful work. This is, like they would say, Louise is the old G. She's foundational.
She is.
She's foundational to coaching. I believe that it really came from her. She didn't even realize she was coaching. She called herself a teacher. She always said she wasn't a healer. You heal yourself, you, your higher power, your inner light doing this work. But she was really the coach of the most. And recently, I mentioned that J Lo, who's currently in Vegas, isn't she?
Yeah.
Doing
Yep.
yes, Vegas. She's doing her shows. Well, someone sent me a video of J Lo thanking everybody, the dancers, and saying, "I remember when I was going through my divorce, Louise said that I had to say my affirmations, and I would open up my arms and say, I'm
Yep.
receptive to all the good in the I'm open and receptive to all." And I loved Louise, and that helped me. And I can't. Wow. And so J Lo did a lot of coaching with Louise when she was here, and still she's like, "My kids do affirmations. Thank you for doing the affirmations before the show." And I thought, wow, I've always known, but this is still so alive in her, beautiful minds, and Anna and Christy, because it becomes a way of life. It changes your life.
It does. It becomes a way of life.
It becomes a way of life, and not that coaching that I did 5 years ago and you forget about it. You're really working on the foundation, the roots of the weeds, the challenges in her. You're pulling them up from the roots and not just cutting down the weeds.
Yeah. You know, and people ask, what is unique about what you're doing? Because it's honestly, the personal development industry is a multi-million, if not billion-dollar industry. It's huge. And people ask, what is unique? And it is what Anna said. It's not about goal setting. It's not about any of that, like, constantly aggressively trying to get to the next step. What makes us unique is that you are already perfect exactly as you are.
Yes.
And I want everybody who's listening to really think about that. You are already perfect exactly as you are. And for those who are going to watch us during the abundance training, webinar tomorrow, for those who are, thinking about joining the journey with us, what we're doing is we're helping you find that light that is already perfectly within you.
Yes.
And for those who are thinking about coming to the training, we're teaching you and guiding you on how to help others find that light that's already within them. It's not about this aggressive need to change everything about yourself. You already have the light. Every single one of us already has that light in them. And what Louise did was say, it's okay to accept it. It's okay to find it. It's okay to get in there and weed out the roots that are kind of shadowing it.
Yes.
And then boom, let that bright, giant light that you were born with, that you knew you had when you were a baby, let it come back out.
That's right.
And it's not to say challenges won't show up. They will. That is life. That is what we're here to do. It is a journey. But it's understanding that you are absolutely perfect, exactly as you are, and that you have tools that help you to manage those challenges. That is how we are unique.
Beautiful, beautiful, my beloveds. We only have a few minutes. I'm going to go back and say, this is how this work changes you and changes the world. It heals your relationship with the self. You transform your thought patterns. You release the past through forgiveness. You reprogram the subconscious mind with affirmations, and you live as love and contribution. Because once you're healed up, and practice this, you want to share it with the world. So you attend tomorrow's class, you do the journeys with Anna and Christy, and you sign up for the training in October, because it changes your life and it gives you life tools that you can use every day, whether you're coaching with Anna or not. You are changed from the inside out. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Any last thoughts? We just have a minute or two.
And the last thought, I really want to invite people to come and join the training because it is a life-changing experience. If they want to add on to their practice or start new career, explore. There's a way to find out more about it by booking a free Zoom call with me or Christy, and they can find that on our website, louisehayusa.com, and see if this is something that they want to do. Because we are not teaching only tools, we are really making changes in people's life. And everything that we talked about it's done practically in our training.
Yes.
So love yourselves enough to forgive yourselves and give yourself an opportunity to grow.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna and Christy. Thank you for being on. We will be back together. My beautiful ones, thank you. I'm Rev Martine, and this is What Would Louise Say on the New Thought Media Network. Bye-bye.